Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Mill Spill with Dr. Aaron Miller, physical therapist and fellowship trained orthopedic manual physical therapist. This week, I'm going to bust two myths in my field. But first, I want to give a shout out and thank everyone for watching. I do appreciate it. All the shares, likes, comments. It's awesome. Keep it coming. My basic premise on here is to share information across to the general public, to fellow PTs, to anyone who's interested in the field, just in the experience and the education that I have about my field and different things that we can myth bust in order to get a better understanding of why we do what we do and to help people. So I appreciate all the comments and really I want to just encourage this to be a lens to share and really just promote conversation about things that are in our field. And thank you so much. It really makes me happy to know that it's being shared around as a positive way to look at um, how physical therapy is administered and that there are things that we can do to help ourselves and to invest in ourselves. So I appreciate it very much. So this week I've got two myth busts. Okay. So the first one is that I get asked all the time after a patient is treated by me for the first time or after several times. They ask me, am I a chiropractor? So myth number one, being a physical therapist is not being a chiropractor. I know chiropractors. I have a good buddy, Maddie, shout out, and my brother-in-law, great chiropractors, great guys, but that's not what I am. That's not what I went to school for. Do I manipulate? Absolutely, 100%. I think it's important. I think it's needed in a lot of cases to get us from A to B, and I do it. So I promote it, and I think all PTs should be able to manipulate, just like it's another tool in the toolbox. What's different is that my job is to teach you how to then work on the areas that need strengthening with exercise, and so that that area doesn't have to be manipulated all the time. So that's kind of my niche. That's kind of what I like to do, and I get pretty good results with that. So just throwing that out there. That myth number one being busted. I'm not a chiropractor. I know it's simple and it's easy, but I think you got to understand it. So um, the second myth here is it safe to self manipulate? Necks, as you may have heard there, backs. Is that okay to do over and over and over again? And is it safe to do over and over again? So people I'll often think, yeah, it just gives me relief. And typically with manipulation, you can get some relief. So that's why people continue to do it. So, uh, yeah, I think that people, they'll manipulate their necks, they'll manipulate your backs to get that pain relief, but it's very short term. And the reason why it's short term is because when we self manipulate, we can't control what is actually manipulating. The general public and even in the field of physical therapy and for the top-notch best manipulators, we can only speculate what area we're actually manipulating. So, what happens when we manipulate a joint, right? It's a release of an air bubble, right? I get asked frequently with those self manipulators, is my knuckle going to get big if I keep popping it? Is it going to create arthritis? No, it's just the gas leaving a joint when there's too much stress, and when it's put under stress, it releases and you get that pop. But you can manipulate a joint, and 20 minutes later, you can do it again. Same joint, and it's not going to harm you. It's not going to hurt you. It's just going to give you that secondary relief of pain or whatever you're looking for, stiffness or tightness or whatever. So when you manipulate, uh, especially the self manipulation, we again, you don't know what you're manipulating, and technically, I believe that you're probably manipulating the same spot over and over again. It's not going to hit every area that you feel is stiff. It's only going to move where you get movement. And a lot of times that over time will actually weaken the ligaments and the structures around that joint and create it to be more loose than what it actually is. So if you're doing this a lot, is it a problem? It can be over a length of time because you'll keep manipulating and keep having to go harder and more rotation and more movement just to get that manipulation. When in fact, the problem could be in a different area. So as physical therapists and a manipulative therapist, my job is to find the areas that actually need to be manipulated So if you're finding that you're popping your neck all the time or your back all the time, it might be a situation where you actually have to have a different area looked at to normalize the movement, and then you need to be given the proper exercise in order to train yourself to move properly. So with my excessive manipulators, I try to tell them anytime you feel like you need to manipulate, you need to do something for strengthening in that area, neck or back. So so myth bust number two is self manipulation bad? So, yes, over a long period of time. Short term relief, if you're doing it, fine. But if you're finding yourself doing it 20, 30 times a day, that is excessive. And it needs to be looked at because it can lead to long term breakdown. My big thing is prevention. So, if I can prevent an injury from happening before it does, I do it. So, if you're in this position where you're feeling that you need to manipulate for stiffness or to get a stretch or to get some pain relief, please invest in a practitioner who can do it for you, who can really get down to the root cause, why you're having the stiffness, why you feel like you need to manipulate, get it taken care of, get it looked at, invest in yourself. That's a big, big, big thing. So, two myth busts. Hope you liked it, guys. Please, comments, concerns, leave them. Love it. And I hope you have a good week. See ya.